Studies show that for every hour you spend on social media daily, your risk of developing clinical depression increases by 9%. With the average person now spending over 2.5 hours on these platforms daily, we're facing the largest self-esteem crisis in history, and it's happening one scroll at a time. I've spent years investigating why we feel increasingly anxious and inadequate despite being more connected than ever. What I've discovered isn't just scattered cases of low self-esteem, it's a collective crisis engineered unintentionally by platforms we've integrated into every aspect of our lives. This isn't about demonizing technology. These tools aren't inherently harmful. It's how they've been designed to capture and monetize our attention that's causing this epidemic of self-doubt. Understanding this distinction is crucial if we want to reclaim our sense of self-worth. What makes social media uniquely damaging is that it functions as a comparison machine operating at unprecedented scale. For the first time in human history, we're exposed to thousands of carefully curated lives daily, each seemingly more perfect than our own. Here's what's critical. We're comparing our unfiltered reality to others' heavily edited highlight reels. Our brains haven't evolved to make this distinction automatically. When we see these images, our primitive brain registers them as real social encounters. The platforms themselves maximize this effect. Their algorithms show us content that triggers strong emotional responses, content that provokes either aspiration or inadequacy, because both keep us scrolling. Every feature, from filters that enhance appearance to metrics that quantify our social worth, reinforces the message that we're being evaluated and often found wanting. What's particularly insidious is how this system transforms normal human insecurities into profit centers. The more inadequate we feel, the more we engage with solutions, products and content that promise to fix our perceived deficiencies. The research is becoming impossible to ignore. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that limiting social media use to 30 minutes daily led to significant reductions in loneliness and depression after just 3 weeks. Another study demonstrated that receiving likes activates the same brain circuits as eating chocolate or winning money, creating powerful feedback loops. Most alarming is what researchers at the University of Amsterdam discovered. Young people who used Instagram for just 7 minutes showed decreased body satisfaction and increased negative mood. 7 minutes, that's all it took to measurably damage their self-perception. Dr. Ethan Cross, a psychologist studying social media's impact, explained that social media creates a perfect storm for self-evaluation. It combines social comparison, quantifiable popularity metrics, and the illusion of intimacy, all factors known to affect how we value ourselves. This isn't just anecdotal, it's a documented phenomenon affecting people across demographics, though young people are particularly vulnerable. A teenager I interviewed described checking her phone first thing every morning. Before I've even fully woken up, I've already seen 20 people living better lives than me. How am I supposed to feel good about myself after that? The most powerful insight I've gained came from a former social media platform designer who asked to remain anonymous. The platforms aren't trying to make people feel bad about themselves, he told me, but they are trying to maximize engagement, and unfortunately, making people feel slightly inadequate is extremely effective at driving engagement. This creates what he called the self-esteem paradox. The very tools we use to seek validation are systematically undermining our ability to feel validated. And this isn't just affecting individuals, it's reshaping our collective understanding of what constitutes a worthwhile life. Consider Alex, a college student who deleted all his social media accounts after a mental health crisis. I realized I was living my life for an audience that didn't actually care about me, he said. I was doing things not because I wanted to, but because I thought they'd look good online. And no matter how many likes I got, it was never enough. What Alex discovered mirrors research findings. Authentic self-esteem comes from meaningful connections, purpose, and competence. Precisely the things that become harder to develop when we're caught in cycles of comparison and performance. The most troubling aspect is that many of us know social media is harming our self-perception, yet we find it extraordinarily difficult to disengage. This isn't a failure of willpower, it's a testament to how effectively these platforms have been designed to keep us hooked. So where do we go from here? I don't believe the answer is to abandon technology entirely. That's neither realistic nor necessary. Instead, we need to fundamentally rethink our relationship with these platforms. First, recognize that what we're experiencing isn't personal failure, but a predictable response to environments engineered to exploit our psychological vulnerabilities. This shift in perspective alone can be liberating. Second, implement practical boundaries. Using time-limiting apps, turning off notifications, or designating tech-free zones in our lives. These aren't just self-help tips, they're acts of resistance against a system that profits from our diminished self-worth. Third, we need to collectively push for platforms designed to enhance rather than undermine well-being. This means demanding transparency about algorithmic impacts and supporting platforms that prioritize genuine connection over engagement metrics. If you've been struggling with how social media makes you feel about yourself, know you're not alone, and it's not your fault. The game has been rigged, but together, we can change the rules. I'd love to hear your experiences with social media and self-esteem in the comments below. How has it affected you, and what strategies have you found helpful? And if you found this valuable, please check out my previous video on practical mental health strategies for the digital age. Remember, the first step toward change is understanding what we're really up against.